So a couple of tips when you want to choose. I like George and the basic shapes because it cuts a nice square or rectangle much better than the wonky ones in Gypsy Wandering. So I just chose a square, and if you can see that the link is taken off. When I do that, I also try to have the actual button on. That way I will get exactly the width and height I want. And another tip is when you want to add score markers, the score mark you need it tiny, and in Gypsy trying to grab hold of small things, it's better that you set the cursor also as small as you can go. So I will set it as 0.1 because that's the least height the cursor at. So once when I set that cursor height at 0.1, and for the score mark itself I like to choose this one with the shift lock, this tiny shape over here. This is what I generally like to use. So we won't be able to see that unless, see, this is the shape, unless we zoom. How I'm able to, even with this it's difficult sometimes to grab hold of it. I have to tap out. See, now I have selected that and that score mark can move. And if you try doing that with a big cursor, you'll not have much success. The next tip is, while designing the cuts which I want, I copy those 3 shapes, the inside shapes. I can try to place the shapes inside. When I first did the cut, I just placed the image, and later I thought I wanted it to pop up from the background while I cut, so it was difficult to ink and I wanted a shadow. So once when you want to do a shadow back again, and when you know that the shadow feature is on, it's very easy. Just copy that image onto a new page. So I want this, I will just add a page, and as long as it's selected, I can just hit the copy paste button in the advanced menu. I will get that. So in this page, let us say that I want to add a shadows, and then as long as the image size is set, that is the cursor is set, I'll first have to switch this real dial size button off. I do not want that on because that button will make the shadow the same size too. I don't want that. I want it to be a little bigger. So first I will select that off. Then as long as that image is selected, you will see that the height of the image automatically is set for you. So it will come as a group, and that's good, and the height is the same. So you just need to go back to the keypad, and I know that this is the shadow for that dragonfly. I just select that, and now if you see, now if I ungroup and if I zoom, for zooming just press the top button and just tap on that area where you want it zoomed. So when I just move that, you'll see that it's a perfect shadow. So that's one tip if you have not shadowed immediately and you want it later. To get to the design itself, to make the card, I've used these papers, the solid back, the solid cardstock, 2 of them for the card itself and 1 for all the shadow. Then this one is to layer, and this paper, the Spectrum Warm, so my mind's eye Spectrum Warm. And then this is the third paper which I use to cut the designs, and that's from K&C company, and it's classic design. So I have cut the papers out, and then I have shadowed it, tickled it using these 3 stickles. What is that? Let's see. I've used eucalyptus, and then fruit punch, copper, and I think 1 black. So let's now start assembling. First I'll line that up, and there's a score mark on the 2-inch mark over there. So just line that, and then the next score mark, easy, just line that and score. So once I get all the 4, I will fold it both ways because it needs to 4 fold on both sides. So I'll do that to all my paper. So I have placed the glue with the 1/2 inch tape, red tape, on all the 4 corners, aligned it, and after scoring it, first I need to remove the glue from the top. So this is where it helps to butt the edges like that so that it falls in place. I'll now carefully, I've removed the top, the red paper, I'll carefully align the top like that and then allow it to fall in place. So if it's a little off, as long as it's just a tiny sliver, we can always trim off while trying to open with a scissor. So you have to open and close this for at least 4 or 5 times before the card is smooth enough to open. So carefully place that, and if you see some excess when if it tries to catch while opening, just trim it out with a blade. It will, however much you do it right, it will tend to, can't be perfect. So once you open, try to just go over the scores. Score marks, that should flatten it out. So just go over the score marks and try to open and close, open and close. So it's a little off. This way is better. So even if your score lines gets a little off, you can adjust it back in place. So score it again and trim and open and then start assembling. So I will start putting the pieces together and we'll see how it looks when it's finished. Okay, I've finished assembling the card straight from the nest. I've used all the cuts from that. So this is how it opens. I like this bird and this paisley. So this is the second opening, ticking fly. And the third one, happy chicks. Fourth one, spread your wings. And then again up. We are back to the first one. The first one open sideways, second one open top, third one open sideways, and fourth one open top. So I hope you like this project. Thank you for watching.